Pascal, can you signify by raising your hand so that we can unmute you so that you can ask your question before we round up? So,
Please, I have
is
a
anyone
question.
want
I
to
was
ask a
trying to raise my
question?
hand.
Okay.
Hello, thank you so much. A big thank you for stimulating us with all the information that you have. They are very seasonal, they are very timely. And thank you for thinking about others. Thank you for using your experience to help others. And like I said earlier, financial world in the United States is a journey. Is a journey. I said it because your issues in your 30s are going to be different from your issues in your 40s. And it'll be different from your issues in your 50s and even in your 60s and in your 70s. It's interesting. It's very interesting, but I appreciate your helping us. My question, which is a little bit funny, you've done all your life, all you wanted to do in the United States. And you're beginning to see the kids and you are like, okay, they must be ready for some investment, for some money from their parents, right? But you can see that they're not managing the money well, even on their own accounts. And I'm talking of this from experience. You see a young girl, became a surgeon, making about 500,000, still have medical school student loan. I haven't finished paying that too, but living on top of the wall. And you look at yourself as a parent, as a grandparent, and you're like, really? Maybe my house should just go for charity. I mean, I'm talking literally. So the question I'm asking is, and I know somebody says she has done something for the elderly in their church, is when it comes to protecting your, whatever you have. And just when I was thinking about that, you mentioned something about will and estate. Which will be the best way or the best possible options when you want to say, okay, you could see they're not going to manage anything well. So do you just want to do charity when you turn 70, or what you want to do? Just a thought.
Okay, I can take it first. It's up there. I have a living will, and in that living will is a very big binder that an attorney helped me to put together, and I put all my assets into it. And I also have instructions for any additional thing that I acquire. And it is including, and it has very strict instructions on how all my assets will be managed, how everything will be distributed. I mean, these attorneys are very, very, estate attorneys are very good at all the decisions that need to be made and how everything is distributed, how it will be managed, how it will be governed, and the amount of laxity or flexibility or liberty you want to give your children, down to medical instructions, down to, sorry, I have to take a ladder to pick it up, but to bring it. But my advice is, if there's concern, just see an attorney and have him create a living will for you. Is it living will or living trust? I can't remember. I have the old binder. I don't pay as much attention to it as much as I pay to the one that has my real estate holdings in it. But that's actually more on the easier side, because those things will say this is the limits of their decision-making power. And for them to make a decision, it has to be approved by this person, by that person. These are the time limits they can do. Like you can carve those things in, and then you can also, I mean, those are pretty easy to do. I'll say, see somebody, I think to do my own, I mean, I think I paid less than like 9,000 to do mine. And mine was pretty comprehensive. And I picked a really good lawyer. So I don't think you pay that much for it.
And another comment I would like to make, I appreciate your teaching us about financial. And please, I'm begging for couples. You might be up there. Maybe a woman might not be up there. So as we both decide on this financial journey, somebody did a good job with the marriage. Like after your first year of marriage, the things that you look at and stuff, whoever that made that comment about marriage is important, because we are beginning to see it now. Life was good when there was no money. Life get a little bit messy when money also comes. So just the word there that couples, if at all possible, should be, the two of them should subject themselves to the financial teaching. Because one person might be up there, just, he can pick it up faster than any other person. And then the other one just don't have an idea. Or I may be the one that like my jewelry and my lace. Women, we know us with our problem. And then the man is the one that like to be stingy and invest. But those are some of the things that will cause trouble down the line. So I was just making that, and that's a common thing in our community. And pastors, please, I'm begging. I'm glad we found you. Please, I need to see more male mentoring groups. For some reason, the women pick it up faster. I don't know what's going on with all these boys. I don't know what we have all done. So we need to see more of you. I know you are ministers, you are pastors, but we all know Jesus is the center. So when you come across them, the Lord will help us to make them listen, because they feel so much on top of the wall anyway. Once they start making 600,000 a year, nobody can talk anymore. So I'm just begging the Nigerian community, we are looking better. We will continue to look better. While I'm on this line, I would just like to say, Nigerian Americans, we are now looking forward to see you more people in power, in the Congress, in everything. So please, let's continue to vote for any of our people that's going into power. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mommy Lamidi Omodupe.
Thank you for joining us. So there's a question there on the chat for Mr. Patrick. I think somebody put a question there.
So is it the one
Is
that
it a
says
question for you or
I
for?
am currently 21 years old. I'm student in no debt in college, finishing up my last semester of uni. I have been able to save enough money to buy my first investment property and looking to get my first tenant. I also have an index fund and plug the rest of my money in an high-yield savings account. Is there any advice for me directly to continue to set a strong foundation? Personally, you started off at 21, you already have your first home trying to get your tenant. So you are doing something right. So you must have someone that is mentoring you. So I want to say, get closer to your mentor, let them continue to teach you, continue to improve. And then on everything you said, you should now be looking at consolidating, right? You should not be looking at putting everything together, having that protection, putting everything in a nest. You have this high-yield savings account. So this high-yield savings account, you are 21, you are not thinking of dying, that is true. But if anything should happen to you today, this high-yield savings account, does it go to your family? You know, like Dr. Akin Tonde, she talked about, Pastor Wale, he has been able to create a trust. So if you listen to what Pastor Wale said, I want everybody, if you listen to what he said, he has a trust where he has all his property. That trust that he has all his property, he is the trust administrator. Then he has a will. That will is where he said, this is where somebody gets this. This is where somebody gets this. This is where somebody gets this. So in America, if you have a will and you don't have a trust, you will pass through the probate. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
You get it? So these are very, very technical stuff that we need to really speak with lawyers. Anthony's, they are very good. They'll help you out. But you need to differentiate between all of them. So first thing, you create that trust. So for you guys 21, I know you are still young, but from what you have done, I think you are going past that 21 years feeling. So go and get yourself a trust, and these houses that you have now, you start to put them in your trust, okay? And then you talked about index accounts. What kind of index do you have? Is it the index that is protected by the government? Because there are some indexes that does not go through the probate. So those are the kind of indexes you want to get, and then you start to put your money there, and you have a steady growth on them without ever taking a loss. So thank you.
So there's a question there on the chat before.
Quickly, I just want to give two advice to this person, to the iPhone person. The first thing is house hack as long as you can. House hack basically, and I don't know what your situation is. House hack means I buy a house, somebody lives in one of the units, I live in the other unit, and then I move out into another 2 units, and I always live with a co-tenant. I house hacked as long as I could, even with my children, until I bought a house where I was by myself. The moment you buy a house where you're by yourself, it becomes a bit more difficult to buy an investment house. But as long as you live in that house, it's easier to buy an investment house because the down payment requirement, Pastor Joy can talk about this, is very favorable, as low as 3.5% for I'm losing my FHA for FHA. So house hack as long as you can. The moment you live in your own house by yourself, it's going to be very difficult to get very favorable down payment rates. So house hack as long as you have. The second advice I can give you, since you're just coming out of college, never lose your entrepreneurial bone. from the very beginning. Don't get used to 9-to-5 corporate job. Have your job, but always have something on your side, because if you can learn to have a job, a corporate job, and a side business, you learn to be entrepreneurial, you learn to be multifaceted, you learn to always have two things. As you start to grow that, that's how people become really, really dynamic. So I don't know if you have an interest, you already look like you're already in a good start. Just try to find something, start to dabble a little bit inside business. As you trial and error, small, you start to build that muscle. And that's how you become very, very dynamic and unstoppable. God that started with you will continue with you. That's my prayer for you.
Thank you, Pastor. Anyone in the platform that want to ask question, either real estate or finance? So, okay. She said, thank you, sir.
Hello, mommy. I just have a comment, man.
Yes.
Yeah. Please, I'm very sorry. I keep coming back. Finance is one of my pet peeves.
That's fine.
Okay.
We're just trying to
So
wrap.
the other thing I was going to say also is I know all of us like to start off with their 401k, which is good. Once you get to your financial level, I'll say like 5 or 6 years, if you can, and I'm just saying this, I'm talking from experience. If you can pull out of that 401k and put the money down for a property, is up to you. Because the day you realize how much they are using your 401k to make money, it will insult your financial knowledge.
Yes.
This was what I did in 1997, and it was a risk. Everybody thought I was stupid, and I said, look, I'm going for this. I was lucky to work on the bank after leaving high school in Nigeria. So that's where my financial knowledge came from. Then coming to America, it was something I said, okay, let me just, tap more into it. And I read a lot of Robert Kiyosaki's book in the 90s. So that's where all my financial thing. And for those of you, when you start buying properties, you'll get tired of having one everywhere. So even if you see apartments, and please, I'm begging, I know I'm talking too much. Even if you see apartments, if you see 4 units, it's not commercial. Because once it's more than 4 units, they start getting into the commercial role. But you might be lucky if you see apartments, give it a shot. All these 4 units in one place, it will just make you not to invest for the next 5 years because you have money tied down in a solid place. And just learn all the game along the line. It will be nice, it will be rosy, you have your difficulty. After a while, you get used to your tenants. After a while, you know them. And everything Section 8 is asking for, go for the training too. Know it. And after a while, you get comfortable with it. But I'm begging all of us, because I'm beginning to see it a lot. Once husband or wife get comfortable with too much money, then divorce comes in. So we need to try to still put that God in the picture, regardless. And what usually happens is, you have the knowledge, I don't have the knowledge. And when you were going up there with the knowledge, I was left behind. So I'm begging young couples, please carry your wife along, let her take classes, force her to see things the way she sees it. No, still let her do her lace and jewelry if that's what she wants to do, but still let her see where finance is. Thank you so much, sir. And thank you, mommy, for the presentation.